Hi, my name is Ankit Datta, student ID 3005738. This is video 2, Outsourcing Offshoring for ITECH 6207 assignment. It has been suggested that outsourcing refers to the practice of a firm entrusting to an external entity the performance of an activity that was performed erstwhile in-house. Whereas if we were to consider offshoring, it can be said that offshoring is a form of outsourcing itself. Offshoring is done when a company moves business processes or services to a different country altogether to outsource it from its actual primary marketplace. The concept of outsourcing has come out with that the business always tries to produce its services at the least possible cost and sell the services or its end products at the highest cost possible to maximize its returns. Hence, in the later part of this decade, outsourcing and offshoring has become very popular, especially with India and Philippines leading hubs for IT outsourcing. If you could look at the diagram at the moment, it generally shows an architecture on outsourcing, how a firm outsources its services to an overseas firm, whereas outsourcing as well as offshoring at the same time. If you look at the box 1 in the middle, it shows out that outsourcing to the firms overseas is done by subsidiaries of offshore insourcing and offshoring. And if we go up to the block above it, it says outsourcing to suppliers, as in upstream vertical outsourcing. It basically shows that how vertical outsourcing is done to current suppliers as well as the new suppliers of your services. There can be in vertical upstream outsourcing, there can be multiple suppliers and your sources. So if you look at the points, outsourcing to suppliers is done basically on these kind of points. If you could see, it's done to current suppliers as well as new suppliers. It's done to a single source or multiple source. Outsourcing is done within shores as well as to the offshore suppliers. Outsourcing is done majority of the market area of accounting, human resources, information systems, manufacturing, marketing, research and development. Co-outsourcing is done with strategic alliance of firms which are partners to achieve a procurement economics. If I could give an example over here, if we go and look for a Steve Jobs video, co-founder of Apple, he clearly stated once that most of its initial operating system software for Apple II in 1996 was developed by Microsoft. Now this is one fact which not many of us know. It's a perfect example of how outsourcing is done. A giant marketing giant coming up with another marketing giant in technology to come up with ideas to provide a better product. Partial outsourcing is another thing where customer retail management of low sales volume customers is given to outsourcing partners. Another example for this is probably our 3 customer care. If you could see that most of the 3 customer care representatives are based outside Australia, majority in India, Mumbai. Then if we could come out to the third box, the lower one, where outsourcing to customers is downstream vertical outsourcing. It's done to intermediate customers, that is, for example, your retailers. If I was to outsource my products or my services to retailers in hand, then partial outsourcing to intermediate customers, where, let's say, outsourcing to a place where the population in a town is less, so gives out an opportunity for better infrastructure and probably low cost wages, so which can maximize the returns for the outsourcing hosting company. Then to basically outsourcing can be directly done to the end use customers. So that's in a way you could call it a micro outsourcing. Coming on to the fourth point of the architectural of outsourcing and offshoring, outsourcing to competitors. That's horizontal outsourcing. Before, I gave an example of Apple and Microsoft. They perfectly fall into this category because Apple and Microsoft, as we know, are major competitors in the market for personal computers. So basically, you get your things done from a competitor itself. Way back in 1990s, such notions were seen in Hewlett-Packard and IBM. So it's done to direct competitors, peripheral competitors, or potential competitors in the future. Then reciprocal outsourcing is done for if I outsource something for you, you on the other hand outsource something for me. So like Microsoft and Apple, they both work together on these projects, certain projects, to come up with ideas and to come up with outsourcing opportunities and business opportunities to develop and enhance their technologies. And then we have quasi-horizontal outsourcing and outsourcing to meet demand spikes. Sometimes outsourcing is necessary to do so as to meet the demands of the consumer base, to keep a steady supply in the market. Then at the last, we have outsourcing to strategic alliance partners. That is usually done within shores. It's not offshore at all. And if it is offshored or cross-border outsourcing is done, then it is basically to gain market access or technology access. As in, if I was to launch my products offshore, then probably strategic alliance partners might be required. An example for this is Hutch, the telecommunications company. Hutch being a company outside of India, they partnered with Vodafone, an already existing interface company for telecommunications, in order to launch their products. So there are certain kinds of things which we can learn from this. In order to come in handy with that, what are the major challenges that are faced by IT managers today? Unlike the early part of this decade, all projects today require working with new technologies and deep domain knowledge of any IT industry related products or services. We basically require an experienced staff who have an interfacing knowledge of the applications which are being worked today. So although in today's world, in today's time, IT managers overall have done a good job of training their personnel with high requisite of knowledge and reducing high attrition between skilled laborers. But the problem here comes is that since the IT industry is growing out astronomically, so are the people who are being outsourced. For example, if I have a team, if I have a web development company, this outsourcing model is very frequently seen in web development, web design companies, that the projects are outsourced to be created. So if I have a company, let's say in Mumbai, India, and a project is given. So if I have a technical programmer, 18 months, it's very likely that within 18 months or 24 months, that programmer is going to go up the ladder, probably become a manager or a team leader. Now, in this circumstances, because the industry is growing at a very rapid pace, so are the people rising up the ladder in the industry, in the company itself. So what happens is, when a new person comes to the role, and they are under tremendous pressure to learn their roles, their responsibilities, the new domain, and the new technology which is being used in the company at the moment at a very, very rapid pace. So basically, managers face a problem to mitigate the problem effectively, so that the transition is smooth and the new person does not face a high attrition rate. And the other problem which is faced by IT managers today is to control the work environment when under outsourcing. Now, if the manager is sitting, let's say, in Melbourne, Australia, and the outsourcing team or offshoring team is, let's say, in Delhi, or for example in Philippines for any matter, The problem arises is that it is sometimes very difficult to control the work environment or the work ethical practices in the outsourcing company. Uh, Sometimes the nature of an individual or the attributes of a team do not match your working habits of a manager. So IT managers sometimes have to adjust more than the outsourcing team. So the person who is supposed to manage sometimes is being managed by the team itself. These are certain challenges which we face today with outsourcing and offshoring, but nevertheless, managers are working hard to differentiate the gap of working habits in the host country as well as in the outsourcing offshore countries, so that the gap is bridged, and we have more technical skill labor as well as skilled programming managers to enhance the industry. This is the end of outsourcing and offshoring. Thank you.